Okay, so I just recorded an entire video in slow-mo, like all the talk, all that. Okay, let's start over here. That beautiful footage you just saw is thanks to my patrons, patreon.com/afinepress. I have been able to purchase a few extra pieces of kit, namely, well, I think I showed this to you before, this tripod right there. This thing is awesome, and the pistol grip on it means, quick adjustments. That tripod, and then this slider right here, that's what gave me all those buttery sweet production shots, that movement through production. It is something that when I watch some of my favorite YouTubers' videos, that little bit of motion adds so much. And I don't have other people in the studio to do that for me, so I have to come up with other ways to do it. That is my way. I added a monitor, which is right there, and it's brighter, it's easier to see. Hopefully that means I will be looking away less and looking there and not there, which is what I had been doing with the field monitor I had previously. This is just a much better setup. More importantly, I picked up a piece of kit for production, and that is this cart right here. This is called a bindery cart. Bindery carts are used in print shops. Bindery is all the finishing work that goes into printing. It's things like scoring and folding and drilling and binding books. That's why it's called a bindery cart. And so I bought that from a really great auction house in Ohio that does, actually not far from where I grew up, that does printing equipment specifically. And I picked that up, had it shipped here. A dude named Steve O, not that Steve O, but Steve O dropped that off just a couple days ago. It came in this insane crate. They crated it so well. It was absolutely wild. Thanks so much to my patrons for giving me the opportunity to get a couple pieces of kit that help here. And well, there's something I wanted to talk about. And well, frankly, I'm not entirely sure how to talk about it. I'm not sure how to talk about it without calling people out, like by name. And, well, I'm not even sure if it's a problem to do that or not at this point. It goes like this. This is Instagram, by the way, I'm pulling up. Again, I had done all this already, and so now I got to go back and find the couple of really great examples. Yo. What's up, man? Good? I'm good. You? My neighbor, my locksmith neighbor, we are in the process of kind of reallocating some of the space from me to him, some of the space I don't use. And so right now, there's just an open gap between our two shops, which is très weird. Trying to find this one thing in particular. Here it is. Okay, check that out. That is gorgeous. It's stunning. What I love is this big charger looking thing, this piece of pottery. It's gorgeous. If you were looking at that and you were the kind of person who was looking for the kinds of invitations I do, you would probably assume that was a part of the invitation. I would, but it's not. It's just a freaking styling prop. And what I hate is when stationers do these flat lays with gorgeous, gorgeous things that aren't actually a part of the freaking invitation. It drives me nuts. When I make invitations, things like concrete or, well, I think I've showed you this one before, but this is Joan and Dan's invitation, and that's a part of the freaking invitation. It's not just something that I put this paper on top of. It's what I actually sent Joan and Dan's guests. And I've worked in copper and agate and wood and leather and all sorts of other things. And when those things are a part of an invitation, it brings out this sense of wonder and awe. It creates that holy shit moment for my people. And you know, I've got this styling box, and I've got crap in here like some fabric I really love, or you know, leather and some other stuff. I've got, you know, I got these dice from Best Made Company, and they're beautiful brass dice that would look beautiful in a flat lay. The problem is, you know, I'm the kind of person who would actually have dice cast for my couple with their monogram or a really great logo or something on them that became a true keepsake for their guests. Like, that's something I would do. And so to put these from Best Made in a photo, and honestly, that's what I bought them for, but I won't do it. Well, okay, let me say this. I'm not good at flat lays. It's not something I do well. I'm not well versed in it. I don't know that I have, I just haven't practiced enough. But the problem is when you do these flat lays and you put awesome materials in the flat lays, people are going to think that's a part of the invitation, and it's not. And that makes my job harder, because when I put something crazy or weird or awesome in a flat lay, it's because it's a part of the invitation. I'm trying to find some more, you know, here's another one with a really beautiful little piece of pottery that's just clearly not a part of the invitation. People do this all the time. I don't have as much of a problem when they do it with florals. Sometimes people will use like pressed flowers or something else to show the transparency of acrylic or vellum. That kind of drives me nuts, because like that stuff is beautiful, and you should put florals in with your vellum or your acrylic and make it something beautiful and experiential for people. But if we're doing these high touch experiential invitations that have all these interesting elements to them, sometimes it's hard for that to come across in photos, which is part of why I do this, because in the photos, it may just look like styling. You know, I really do think that Joan and Dan's invitation might just look like a, you know, kind of tea-stained thing laying on a piece of metal, but it's not. This is the physicality of this invitation. And I just think it's disingenuous and slightly misleading to couples to show really beautifully flat-laid stuff that includes materials that, frankly, you know, of course, the day that I want to talk to you about this, I can't find any. But, you know, I'll be scrolling through Instagram and I'll see invitations that I'm like, man, someone's doing really cool stuff here with brass, or, you know, well, shoot, have you ever heard of an Artomat? Artomats are vintage cigarette vending machines that vend art. Our local art museum has one. There are, you know, I don't know, a few dozen across the country. And this is the size they come in. And this is one of my favorite pieces. This little cast, I think it's pewter, cast femur. This is freaking amazing. Well, shoot, if I'm going to use this, I'm actually going to like have these cast for the invitation. I'm not just going to lay this next to an invitation, even if it looks cool, because, well, if I'm going to do it, I want to do it. Like, hey, if you want to cast femur in an invitation, we will contact, well, shoot, not Herbert Hoover. Well, we'll go to this website and talk to this artist and see about casting some femurs for you. I think it's a really cool idea when it's done authentically. And, you know, that the whole idea is any of these materials or concepts or processes should reflect the couple, should reflect their ceremony, the experience they're giving their guests. It's incredibly frustrating to me for, I don't know what reason. It doesn't hurt my business, but it saddens me that there are those of us that are doing these awesome high touch things for couples that, I don't know. It's just annoying. Oh, sometimes it's so hard I should gather my thoughts before I hit record on the camera sometimes. It doesn't hurt my business that these people do it at all. It doesn't hurt or bother me in that way. It bothers me in the sense that it could have been really cool. Like, the wasted potential bothers me. People that can put together these beautiful flat lays, like what if they channeled that energy into actually creating invitations that were that cool? Just an idea, you know? I don't know. I wish they'd do that. So anyway, if you like these videos, hit like, subscribe, do all that jazz. I will end with some footage of a project I'm doing. It's been a long time coming. I've been waiting on some materials and parts to come in. Project I'm doing for Storybox Stationery. I am finishing up his thank you cards. I did his logo last year and finishing up his thank you cards, which are just, I love them. I will show you those and that whole project in a later video. In the meantime, like, subscribe. If you want to support the work of the videos that I do here, go to patreon.com/afinepress. And until then, I'll see you next time.